Today, we're bringing you a major update from the Sean Diddy Combs federal trial, one that centers on the conclusion of testimony from Jane, one of the primary accusers in the case. After days of intense cross-examination and redirect questioning, Jane stepped down from the witness stand. And what she left behind was a portrait of emotional turmoil, coercion, and a deeply complicated relationship. Let's walk through what happened in court yesterday and what it means going forward. Jane began by revisiting one of the more disturbing incidents she's previously testified about, a physical altercation that took place in 2024. The fight began, she said, when she suspected that Combs was spending time with another woman on a trip. She described this moment as a breaking point in the relationship. Her frustration boiled over. She called the other woman using Combs' phone, and the two traded insults. Jane also testified that Combs then FaceTimed his assistant, Jonathan, who tried to assure her the woman had not gone on the trip. But for Jane, the trust was already fractured. What followed was what she called a hotel night, an unsettling term that's come up repeatedly in her testimony. During that night, Jane said she reached out to the same male entertainer she had previously encountered in a Las Vegas incident, a trip that Combs hadn't attended. But when this entertainer texted her mentioning their mutual friend, Combs became suspicious. Jane explained the situation, and she says Combs was furious. His reaction? How could you go to another man's freak-off? A reference, it seems, to the type of sexual gatherings Combs was allegedly orchestrating. It's clear from Jane's testimony that these hotel nights were a recurring and painful feature of their relationship. She described a confusing cycle where Combs would shower her with affection, emotional attention, gifts, love, but always with what she called sexual exploitation in between. When the prosecution asked her why she sent him affectionate messages, even after difficult experiences, like the Turks and Caicos trip in 2023, she said it was because she had learned to compartmentalize, to separate the abuse from the glimpses of affection. She focused on the good parts and blocked out the rest. She also spoke powerfully about the emotional toll of constantly having to justify her own worth. During conversations with Combs about other women in his life, she said she would bring up the hotel nights as a way to express a deeper hurt. She was trying to ask, why did she have to degrade herself, cross every boundary, compromise her own values, just to be close to him? And yet, other women were allowed to be with him in what she called the way I want to. Jane became emotional on the stand, explaining that it wasn't just about jealousy, it was about dignity, about wanting to be with someone without sacrificing her sense of self. Jane also spoke about how her resistance to participating in these hotel nights grew over time. She said she began voicing her discomfort as early as 2021, but it wasn't until 2023 that she became more assertive. By that point, Combs had been paying her rent for several months, and, according to her, he used that as leverage. She testified that he would bring up the rent in different ways, implying that his financial support was tied to her continued participation in the hotel nights. This, of course, adds another layer of coercion to an already troubling narrative. Then came one of the most striking exchanges of the day. The prosecutor asked Jane if she could give back every dollar, every gift she ever received from Combs, if it meant she never had to sleep with another man during their relationship, would she do it? Her answer was immediate. Yes. She also made it clear that she's not expecting any compensation from this trial. She said she's testifying because she was subpoenaed. Not for money, not for publicity, but because the court required her to be there. Jane's testimony is now concluded, but her words will likely stay with the jury and with the public for quite some time. Her account paints a picture of a relationship shaped not just by personal dysfunction, but by deep imbalances of power, coercion, and emotional manipulation. She spoke of love, yes, but a love complicated by fear, control, and psychological strain. With Jane's time on the stand now over, the trial moves forward into new territory. But the picture she painted of a woman trying to navigate an emotionally fraught and at times deeply exploitative relationship will almost certainly remain a central point of discussion as this case continues. We'll be watching closely for further developments in testimony in the coming days. As always, subscribe and stay tuned for daily updates on this case and others making headlines across the entertainment and legal worlds. Thanks for watching.